All right, time for the Week 16 NFL recap. As always, Kevin Bunk, Michael Merlo coming to you for BTO Media. I'm gonna sound like one of those like corny people, but I cannot believe it's Week 16. I just couldn't believe it when I looked at the schedule yesterday. 2 weeks left in the NFL season.
Yeah,
Unreal.
it's scary. It's scary how fast it goes. So college football is basically over. I mean, it's done. There's no point in watching. Games are boring. Well, at least now it'll get a little exciting. But yeah, it is so crazy how fast this season moves.
Yeah, tough. So we got a lot of games to go through today, a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to skip a handful of games, though, because there were a lot of bad ones on this week's schedule. We're going to do, as always, overreactions at the end of the show. We're also going to do a little coach talk. Who's going to get fired? Who's going to keep their jobs? And we have a new segment that we're going to do where we take a victory lap on one thing that we predicted earlier in the season, likely from the overreaction segment. We're also going to do the opposite and hand up, we botched this one, bad take, and own that. So let's start, though. I want to start with the Saturday game because it was a Saturday night game. It was the best game of the weekend, and the Bears got that miracle win over the Packers. Obviously, we didn't speak about it yesterday or at any time on Saturday night. Bears in the driver's seat now for the North. It would be a shocker if they lost it. Unbelievable win.
Unbelievable win. Unbelievable throw. 2 unbelievable throws by Caleb to win them the game. I'm emotional about this team, Kevin. Every time I see them on social media, anytime I see a Bears fan on social media, I'm like emotional about this Bears team. I'm all in for this run. This is the team I'm rooting for in the NFC, even though I've got a decent amount of money on the Rams to win the NFC and win the Super Bowl. The Bears are my NFC team. I'm super pumped for them. And for Caleb, what a pairing this is with Ben Johnson. We thought this would be a great pairing, but I don't think we saw it this early. I don't think we saw it being this great this early, and it is.
You know what Ben Johnson just clearly does better than anyone? Because I see this with watching the Lions, and if you've noticed, the Lions are the best offense in the league this year. Points, yards, everything. Detroit is number one. So you'd think they don't miss Johnson that much on that side of the ball. And what he does different than anybody and better than anybody is the run game. Because I'm looking at these running backs in Chicago every week. They're having awesome games. Collectively, as a group, it's not, and you know, there's no standouts. Monangai was a late day 3 pick. DeAndre Swift has not been good in his NFL career. And the Bears have had one of the best run games in the NFL without a great back. So Detroit, on the other hand, has not been like 4 carries for 14 yards yesterday. David Montgomery leads the way against the bad Steelers team. So Ben Johnson clearly is one of the better run game coordinators in the NFL. I think Detroit really misses it. 40 miracles to beat Malik Willis. I don't know how, you know, I mean, you're a Packers fan, so actually it makes sense, but it's like Cope harder, man. Bears are here. Bears are here. The Micah Parsons all-in season ends with the Packers finishing second in the division to the Chicago Bears.
It feels like, and it felt like the tides are turning. I sent you a video last night from 670 The Score, and it was this Bears fan who was at the game talking about people crying in the stands, hugging each other, crying in the stands after that game. And it does sort of feel like the tides are turning, the energy around the two teams, you know, the direction that the two teams are going in with the players and the coaches. And they're here to stay for a while. And this defense is really good. And you mentioned the run game, and Caleb's getting better every week. So they're dangerous in the future, and they're dangerous this year too.
That's the scariest part if I'm a Packers, Lions, Vikings fan is you're in year 1 here, and I think what I'm seeing with Caleb is a star quarterback unfold. And I don't think the roster is as ready as a lot of people make it out to be, which is a credit to Johnson, but they're going to get there in a year or two. It's a good roster for sure, but they should not be winning. I mean, I think they might have the 3rd best roster in the NFC North. So I don't think that they should be winning this division, but they are. And it's just, you know, Packers got a ton of guys on IR. I get that. They lost Kraft early in the year, which was brutal. They obviously don't have Parsons. They don't have a lot of players, and a lot of guys are playing hurt. Offensive line had musical chairs this past weekend, and Jordan Love didn't play most of the game. But I thought Malik Willis played well, and I think it's just a great win for the Bears. He didn't come in, and the offense just died for Green Bay.
What's the deal with this? What's the deal with Malik Willis coming in every time Jordan Love gets hurt and plays well? What's going on here?
Good quarterback. I think that's
he can
it.
play. He can play.
I mean, look at what Tennessee's doing at quarterback. So it's not a surprise that Willis in 1 year couldn't really do much as a third-round pick.
Yeah, I guess. It's so weird that every time he comes in, he performs.
At
LaFleur.
I'd go back just on a Titans point to something I said last year, and people will clown me for this. I've gotten clowned for it a few times. I think if you took not only Willis, but also Will Levis and now Cam Ward and put them with competent offensive coaches and competent offenses, you'd say, oh, wow, this guy can actually play.
I think Cam Ward's going to be a good player. You see what he did yesterday?
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good player too. I've been on that all year. But even Levis, I think Levis was a huge product of just no coaching.
I don't think there's ever been a bigger moron to play the quarterback position than Will Levis. He did things on a football field. He did things on a football field that you never ever saw in your life.
Yeah, no, Levis had bad moments, no doubt.
Really,
he
bad
didn't get coached at all. You can tell he didn't get coached at all.
All right, but Cam Ward's not getting coached, and yeah, there's some bad moments, but there's also
he was the first pick though. He's way more ready for this than Levis and Willis were. Willis and Levis got no coaching, sucked completely in Tennessee. I think if Levis goes to Minnesota or goes to San Fran and becomes the backup and gets those 3 games, they're like, okay, Tennessee just sucks. He's not a franchise quarterback, but he's at least Mac Jones.
Yeah, but nobody signed him. Those didn't even want him.
He's on Tennessee.
Oh, he's still on Tennessee?
Yeah, he's still on Tennessee. He's a backup.
Oh, thought he was
Levis. There's always a place in the league for Will Levis.
No.
Cam Ward is a good player, absolutely. Cam Ward's been really good. We're going to get to Cam Ward a little bit later on, so I want to talk Chiefs for a brief moment, but we'll hit that game. But great win for the Bears. They're going to win the NFC North. Do you think the Packers are just dead now as far as being a contender in the NFC with all these injuries?
Most likely. I think it's just too many injuries. But, again, it's not even their fault. It's not even their fault. But, yeah, I would say so.
All right, Chargers beat the Cowboys on Sunday, 34-17. Cowboys season was already over, but now nails in the coffin. Chargers have a path to the 1 seed. There's 6 teams in the AFC right now with realistic paths to the 1 seed, and the Chargers are one of them. Herbert had a great game. Dallas defense has once again imploded. Quentin Johnson, another big one. But Chargers are the one team that I don't think we're talking about enough as a potential AFC winner. I don't think they can win it, but they're definitely good enough.
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't think they're good enough right now because of the injuries to the offensive line. If they had a healthier offensive line, I'd say yes. I also think they're in need of one more receiver, one more big play receiver to really be considered one of the better teams in the entire league. But, they're good. The running game works. Hampton's back. Ladd hasn't been great this year. But I love Herbert. I love Harbaugh. I just think there's too many injuries on that offensive line for me to sit here and tell you that I feel great about them going on a run. I picked them to get to the AFC Championship game. I don't think that happens.
Yeah, that's fair. And right now, their first round matchup would be Pittsburgh. So you're thinking maybe they can go into Pittsburgh and get a win, but that's also probably an advantageous game for the Steelers to play. Get the Chargers outside in probably 25 degrees in the second week of January with that battered offensive line. If the Steelers defense is healthy, you feel like they could maybe get that win too. That's a toss-up game for me in the first round.
Yeah, that is.
Cowboys need to do a lot here. Jerry Jones keeps saying they're underachieving. This team all year has not looked like they were built good enough. And you put this first-year coach in a situation where you traded the best player 2 weeks before the season. They have a really fascinating offseason coming up because they don't have a ton of money to work with, but they have to re-sign Pickens. And if they don't, then another hole opens up in what was your most productive spot. I think they need a true running back. Javonte Williams was good the first half of the year, hasn't been the second half.
He wants Williams back.
I know, but I just think that from an outsider looking in, you can keep Williams around, but there has to be somebody else that can provide some bigger plays. He's not a big play back for them. Good, give you 3.5 yards per carry, 4 yards per carry consistently, grind it out type of back for a passing offense. But I would get somebody in here who can give you some more chunk plays. But either way, that's not their biggest problem. The defense has to be totally revamped. Did Trayvon Diggs get a concussion from dropping a TV on his head?
Is that true?
Is that I saw that today. I have not fact checked it.
I didn't see that.
Let me look it up right now.
He dropped the TV on his head.
Trayvon Diggs says he got, according to Jane Slater, reporter for NFL Network, Trayvon Diggs said he got concussed earlier in the season trying to install a TV on his ceiling, and it fell on his head.
Oh.
Tough look.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And he hasn't played in 2 months.
Jesus.
Yeah. Cowboys need a big offseason.
Yeah, they're going to need a nice offseason.
They're going to
There's a
go
lot
to
of
the Chargers.
There's a lot of big teams that need big off seasons.
Yeah.
The Eagles, the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Chiefs.
I got one for you in our next game. Bucks Panthers. Tampa Bay, all-time collapse, crash out.
Yeah.
Awful finish to the season here.
I'm adding them to my list.
Your list of
coaches.
Yeah.
It's time
Bowles
to go.
might be. I don't think he does, though.
I know, but I would.
I would try and figure out a solution at quarterback here, too. I know Baker's fun story. He's a guy, but this has clearly ran its course again, I think, with just this group. The interception he threw down in the game was awful.
Yeah.
Yesterday. And Baker's not their biggest problem here when it comes to getting back to the playoffs, getting back to winning the division. I would definitely dump off Bowles because now both coordinators you feel like are way better coaches that you just lost. That sucks. I'd rather have Canales, and I'd definitely rather have Cohn.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, all the injuries this year and everything, it's just their defense is not good. You shouldn't be losing this division to Carolina, though. As nice of a story as Carolina's been, and we'll give them their flowers in a second, shouldn't be losing the division to them.
No, especially with the way the year started, the way that I think a lot of people felt about Baker in the middle of this year. It really not even the middle, the beginning of this year. That feels like a lifetime ago that we were talking about him. I was taking victory laps on saying, hey, put $5 on Baker to win the MVP. That felt like that was yesterday. It is bad. It's bad that you're losing the division to a coach that, listen, nobody at the time was questioning it, obviously, but you let him walk out the building, go interview for a job in the division, and he's now leading the division in Dave Canales. You mentioned Liam Cohen doing a great job in Jacksonville in a tough AFC. I think when ownership looks at this situation, they're going to say, we let two coaches, like you mentioned, walk out the building that are better than our guy currently. We need to go out there and we need to go find our next head coach.
Another team with a ton of injuries. Baker's one of those guys. I said this with Lamar, where I think the season ends and you hear about the 2 or 3 surgeries he had to get once the season ended. But again, I mean, you've had opportunities to win games. I want to just pull up their schedule. You started the season 3-0, and now you're sitting here at 7-8 in second place in the division. They started the year beating Atlanta, Houston, Jets, and they even beat Seattle in Seattle. That was the 4-1 start. We were all ready. They beat San Fran in Tampa Bay, and they went 5-1. Then they got killed by the Lions, beat the Saints, and since then they've only won 1 game. It's a tough schedule, though. Lost to New England, lost to Buffalo, lost to the Rams, beat Arizona, lost to the Saints, lost to the Falcons, lost to the Panthers. That's not an easy stretch by any means, but still, I mean, just a collapse. And I don't like Bowles anyways. I never really have.
No, it never made sense. Them winning never made sense. And is Young legit? Like, can Young play?
I think he's a franchise guy. I think he's probably at the bottom end of the franchise quarterbacks.
Okay.
I think you got your guys that I've been saying this now for the last 3 or 4 weeks to my friends who talk all the draft stuff and which New York team's gonna, should they get a quarterback? Should they keep Dart? Should the Jets trade up? I think you really just need that placeholder quarterback that you can trust year in and year out. I don't think teams need to always just go crazy shelling out for the top 5 guy because there's only 5 of them.
Right.
And they're usually on teams for 20 years. Like Allen, Mahomes, it's not easy to find one of those guys. So you got to be happy with having Bryce Young right now and being where you are with him. But how many times have we seen a Bryce Young situation in year 2, year 3, year 4, then in year 5 or 6 run its course with like a Tua or Kyler Murray or somebody? So that happens. But I think that Young is a solid guy right now, and Panthers fans should be happy with him.
I'm rooting for Bryce. I'm always rooting for Bryce.
Yeah, you're a Bryce guy.
I think I'm a Bryce guy.
You're a big time Bryce guy.
Sorry,
so,
I just thought of 2 overreactions, and you're gonna freak out.
All right,
freak out.
Panthers basically locked the division with this one.
Who do they have next week? San Francisco, right? No,
no, it's they might actually.
No, because
they played them on Monday Night Football.
Chicago plays San Francisco.
Seahawks.
Oh, right. Tough NFC West game. Yeah.
And then they play the Bucks in week. So you know what? I should take that back.
Exactly.
They didn't lock it up.
Why.
But who does Tampa play next week? The Dolphins in Miami. I'd be shocked if Tampa won that game, but now Quinn Ewers is playing, so maybe not. Dolphins look terrible.
He looked good for a little bit, and then it fell down.
Dolphins looked like a team that quit on their coach yesterday.
Is he gone? I wouldn't fire him. I
think he sucks.
That later. I don't think he sucks.
We'll talk about it later. I think he absolutely stinks.
I don't think he sucks.
Completely awful coach.
Nope.
With his cardigan, knee-high sweatpants every week.
You'd take him in a heartbeat.
I would not.
You would.
I think Mike McDaniel sucks.
You would take Mike McDaniel in a heartbeat.
No, I would not. Don't tell me what I think.
You like Glenn better than McDaniel.
I think they both suck. I don't want either of them right now. I'm not taking them in a heartbeat. My heart would stop if the Jets hired Mike McDaniel in 2 weeks.
Okay.
My heart would
happy.
stop.
I'd be happy with it.
You don't even have a coach.
Exactly.
You should be happy with anyone. You should be happy with Matt Nagy today.
No,
Get a guy that can actually run a practice into the building.
No.
Don't even have that. Next game, we just did Panthers Bucks. Bills Browns. I have a little overreaction stuff on this, but Allen almost gets hurt, comes back, has a terrible game, but they win. Scary day for Buffalo. And I'm not going to say it changes my mind much on him. Going into Cleveland's just the trap game of the year this season. But iffy game.
I don't know if you remember this, but 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were going through Buffalo's schedule and whether or not they could win the division. And the both of us looked at each other and said, yeah, this could be a game that Josh Allen and the Bills lose. And we talked about this game, and they won it, and they almost lost it. So let's give them credit here. Tough place to play, really good defense. James Cook saves the day, and they get the win. They crawl out of Cleveland with the win. Let's just give them that.
Yeah, James Cook, really unbelievable. He's having such a great season. And it's crazy the running back years that we've had where Jonathan Taylor's not going to have a top 5 running back season in the league this year. And guys like Cook, Gibbs, McCaffrey all end up better than him. Yeah. But Cook has been, possibly a top 3 offensive player of the year guy when the season ends. He's been that great.
Is it JSN still?
I think it's either JSN or Puka. I have to look at the stats, but I think it's JSN.
I'm going to look at the odds quickly, see if anything's moved. But the last time I checked, which was last week, it was still JSN.
And he had another good game on. But for his standards, it's just a good game at this point. But Thursday night, so
yeah, but
it shouldn't have changed.
Puka also took a crap.
Puka was great. Yeah,
was so.
But I'll say this: you watch that game Thursday night. I don't think I questioned who the 2 best offensive players in the NFL are this year.
No, yeah, it's a good point.
They've just been insane.
He closed the gap. He certainly closed the gap on JSN with that performance.
Yeah, do you have the odds?
Yeah, so I have. We'll just average it out: -175 for JSN and +145 for Puka.
Okay.
So it's very close. It was like -300 +200 a couple days ago.
Yeah, so that's going to be a good race to monitor the rest of the year. And I'm curious who that running back will be, whether it's who's third in odds right now.
Right now it's Taylor still.
Taylor still. Wow, okay.
And then you've got Cook and then McCaffrey and then Gibbs.
Okay. Next game, you want to hit Chiefs Titans here?
Yeah, sure.
I don't really want to, but Chiefs, I can't believe how bad they were yesterday. Like, this was not even. I know Mahomes is out. I know they're not in the playoffs. Like, I don't think they win a game the rest of the year. I think the Raiders would be a favorite against them in 2 weeks.
Well, if we have, you want to try and pronounce his name, or should I?
Oh,
Aldakun.
Oh, the quarterback.
Aldakun.
Is it the quarterback that they put in yesterday?
Yeah, if he's starting games, maybe the Raiders are favored.
Minshew just tore his ACL, right?
Yeah, Minshew's
Chris
done.
Olakun, is that his name?
Olakun. If he's starting, which seems like he will be, he'll be starting Christmas Day. Whoop-de freaking do. Yeah, they might be favored. You see, the Giants they opened as 3-point favorites in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
it's already down to 1.5.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much from what I watched yesterday. It's part of my overreactions, but the Raiders might win out pretty easily. Giants stink.
Let's go.
Can we talk 1 second about this Dable thing going around that they shouldn't have fired him?
Yeah, they shouldn't have fired him.
The development of this is what I've been saying to people who are rooting for the tank for the Giants, which I get. But if you're a Giants fan rooting for a tank, you got to at least be hoping Dart has good games. He has not been good the last 5 or 6 weeks, and it feels like this total stunt in the development of a guy who looked really good his first 5 starts.
Well, again, you shouldn't have fired the coach who he was playing well with, and I don't care that you were keeping his offensive coordinator. This guy was never going to be good enough to be a head coach. The weapons were also terrible. So the one thing that this kid had going for him, even with Dable here, was that, hey, at least he's got a smart offensive mind in the room that is creating an offense that is built around him. I listen, I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
His brain is literally not developing because of the hits he's taking. I mean, it's definitely not helping the development of the brain, the amount of hits he's taken. But in all seriousness, you look at these jobs, and I don't think the Giants job is what we all made it out to be 8 or 9 weeks ago, where it's this incredibly attractive. You're going to have a top 3 pick, which they are. I think they clinched a top 3 pick yesterday. They have to lose 1 to guarantee a top 3 pick. They had the jewel of the jobs with the quarterback that looked the best, the young quarterback. But right now, if I was offered the Titans and Giants job, I still don't know which one I'd take. Both are awful from just like a success perspective. But in this market, it might be Giants is a little better, but I'd rather coach Ford.
I'll give you these last few games here for Dart. He got hurt in the Bear game week 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he played really well in that game. He only had a pass rating of 91.5, but he was really, really good in that game. Then the New England game, he was not good in. They didn't have the ball. There was really nothing he could have done in that game. Commanders, he threw the pick. He wasn't awful, but he wasn't great either. And then obviously yesterday is one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah, I mean, it's a run of games here. And then if you even want to go before the Bear game, the Niner game wasn't great either, and they got blown out. So he's had moments in these games, but I don't think this is some slam dunk that he's the next future quarterback for the New York Giants. I really don't. And I'm getting killed by Giant fans still for this take. And I don't think it's a bad one. I think everything has to be on the table, and you have to evaluate everything, especially if you have the number 1 overall pick.
And if you bring in a coach that, honestly, we all watch the game, we don't know how coaches feel about these players. Because I think there's a lot of guys who have big stats that coaches will tell you or GMs will tell you, this player A with these great stats and is a great fantasy player and fans love him, is not as good as player B, whose situation is not what people realize and doesn't have the stats, doesn't have the production. But whatever. If you bring in a coach that is really iffy about Dart, I'd almost just move him. I like Dart. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. But if you bring in a coach that is on the fence about him, but really wants to coach the Giants, say Hafley comes in and he's like, I don't really know if Dart's the guy. I don't think he fits what the offensive coordinator is going to want to do. Then there has to be a conversation. There absolutely has to be. Which is why it's interesting if Joe Shane is the GM, because obviously if Shane's the GM, he's picking somebody based on how willing are you to work with Dart.
I wish we already got the notification today. I don't even know where my phone is that he got fired. I mean, you could let me know if we get that notification.
Playing with his 2 top offensive weapons, left tackle and other O-line hurt. Coach got fired. He's been playing fine for most of the season, but yesterday he was terrible. And I know I watched the game. He didn't have much of a chance in a lot of scenarios yesterday, but he threw the ball 14 times and it looked awful.
Yeah. No,
a couple drops have hurt him this year, but he has not looked good the last few weeks, and it's very concerning.
Yeah, Slayton is awful. The weapons stink, but there's a clear drop off since Brian Dable has gotten fired.
Well, you read. I'll pull up those stats right now. I'm sure everybody saw them. You have them up. Yeah, read those.
The games that he played in. The games that he's played in without Dable.
Yeah.
17, 24, 139 yards, a touchdown. That's the Patriot game. 20 of 36, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. That's against the Commies. And then you got 7 of 13 for 33 yards and interception, a 27.4 passer rating. That was against, of course, the Minnesota Vikings yesterday.
And then overall, Jackson Dart with Brian Dable, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 202 yards per game. With Mike Kafka, 139 yards per game, almost a 70-yard drop-off, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. So he's gone from being about a touchdown and a half per game to a touchdown per game, and he's nearly an interception per game, whereas he was less than half an interception per game with Dable. So firing the coach, he did enough to warrant getting fired this year. Let me say that.
Yeah,
but the firing the coach that clearly we always said this. So this is not revisionist history. Dable and Dart worked. They liked each other. It was clearly a mutual relationship. Kafka and Dart is not working.
No. And how about this, actually? Did you see this from Ian O'Connor yesterday?
Probably not.
Brian Flores has faced the Giants 3 times in the last 5 years as a Dolphins head coach and the Vikings defensive coordinator twice.
Mm-hmm.
He's allowed 0 offensive touchdowns in those 12 quarters.
Oh,
and he's running around now, Ian O'Connor, saying the Giants hired the wrong Brian. They failed on the Brian. They failed on the Brian search.
And that's not a crazy criticism because obviously Dable's already gone. So I'm not going to argue.
No, it's not. I'm just not I'm not certain that Brian Flores also would have been this great, head coach here.
Yeah, at the time I preferred Dable at the interview cycle. I thought they should have hired him. So, I mean, Flores I think is a decent coach, but not a real franchise changer.
You know, it's funny. We didn't really know each other then. I wanted both of them. I was happy with either of them.
Okay, I would have said 1A, 1B with Dable as the 1A.
Yes, that's how I felt.
And now Flores is suing the Giants, and he hasn't allowed a touchdown to them in 3.
It's kind of badass.
Yeah, good for him. Let's go to game of the week here. Jags Broncos. Jags win by 2 touchdowns. We did not talk about this game prior. I thought Jags had a shot at winning. It wasn't one of those where I was parading around, so I'm not going to victory lap it. But I thought Jags had a real shot at winning this game. I would have, if gun to my head, I would have picked them. But I'm shocked that they come away and just dominate in Denver.
Yeah, every time I looked up at this screen, and the lead got bigger, I was shocked. But 100%. I mean, look at Lawrence, man. Lawrence was unbelievable. And you have ETN getting involved everywhere. Had the receiving touchdown. This team is rolling. I mean, they figured something out here with Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen has unlocked something in Trevor Lawrence, and he has a huge day against a great defense. And I don't know if you saw the little back and forth between Mr. Sean Payton and Liam Cohen talking about Sean Payton mentioned during the week, they're a small market team, but they're a really good team. And Liam Cohen after the win goes, well, I guess the small market team's actually capable of coming up to Mile High and getting a victory. It was cool.
Liam Cohen's done a real job of following up with people's in-week comments, like the Salah thing earlier in the season, where they tried to fight each other at midfield. But Jacksonville went from winning that Monday night game against the Chiefs on October 6th, and all of us saying they're not a real threat, though, to now, I mean, they're going to finish 13-4, potentially the 1 seed. Their last 2 games are Colts and Titans. They're going to win both. They're home against Tennessee, and then they're in Indianapolis against Phillip Rivers. They'll win both games, Sunday 1:00 games. But they have just unlocked something. I mean, I think when we talk Coach of the Year, that's an interesting conversation right now, awards-wise, too. There's 6, 7, 8 guys that I'd throw in the mix. Cohen is as good as any. This has been an unprecedented year 1, and what he's done with Trevor Lawrence is nothing short of miraculous.
There should be like a random player breakout star of the year, and Parker Washington should get that.
Oh, love him. Have him in every fantasy league.
Like, how good has he been this year? And then yesterday, 6 catches, 140 yards, and a tutty. The guy's been unbelievable this season. And once again, they surprise you. They shock you. This team, small market, Jags. Let's go.
Parker Washington's a guy, too. Year 3, Jaguars for every year. obviously, one of the few players who can really pick out and say, this is Liam Cohn. This is his fingerprint on this offense, finding guys with skill sets. And, with all this success, how dumb is the trade up for Travis Hunter?
Yes, it's so
in
stupid.
hindsight. Like, how stupid is the trade up for Travis Hunter? This team could have just added another really good defensive player like Mason Graham or, depth on the line, whatever you wanted to say, even if you add one of the skill position players that went afterwards, if you stayed at 5, and they trade up for Hunters. Yeah, Jacoby Myers, like, awesome trade up. Now, I mean, Travis Hunter's going to come into a team next year with 3 wide receivers that are proven, unless Brian Thomas gets traded, which is possible. But there's like no spot for him. I'm watching this game yesterday saying, where does he even fit in next year if he's not a superstar corner?
Yeah, no, it's a great point. Unless they do move, Thomas, excuse me. But it is fascinating if you think about that alternate universe, and they'd have a first round pick this year, and they're going to be a high seed, so it's first round pick. But at the same time, imagine a Mason Graham, imagine a Tet McMillan on this team right now. They'd be more productive than Travis Hunter even when he was healthy.
Yeah,
Mason Graham's great.
Trade back for one of those teams that were allegedly trying to trade up to get Genty or somebody.
Yeah,
you go get Colson Loveland. You'll get, who, by the way, has been awesome, Colson Loveland. But yeah, either way, I mean, great win for the Jags. On the flip, I thought Denver. This really tempered my expectations on Denver.
It did. It opened a lot of people's eyes. I think they figured something out here, Jacksonville, against this Denver team. They threw the ball a lot. You don't want to do that. Harvey wasn't great. And, it's just one of those games where I think they won 11 straight. Maybe it was like the New England game last week where people said, well, New England needed to lose. They needed to lose a game. And they need to lose to Buffalo for this season to go the way they wanted to. And maybe this is that game for Denver, but I don't know, because I think they figured a lot out here against this Denver team.
Yeah, they did. More to come in overreactions. I'm going to hit here on Steelers-Lions, where the Steelers get a big win. Tomlin wins his 9th game again. And I just say on that, I know it's a thing every year and people don't really care anymore. Anybody who thinks what Mike Tomlin's doing isn't impressive is just wrong. I get that you want more in the postseason. I get that he hasn't won a postseason game without Roethlisberger, but this is just league average QB play at best. And in a lot of seasons here, terrible quarterback play with Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph, and he is still putting this team in a position to be relevant, to be successful. You get this guy a quarterback. Maybe the idea that they don't have a quarterback is somewhat his fault. I get that too. And their development, but you really make a play for a quarterback and you can get a guy in here. Pittsburgh is great. Like, this guy is a great football coach.
Kenny Gainwell was their leading receiver yesterday. That's also one of the craziest plays I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, that was insane. I didn't see it live, and
Neither
then
did
I saw it back because a kid in my fantasy league was playing against him, and he's like pissed because it was a 15-point play for him, or 14-point play, whatever. And I watched it back. That was like a top 3 or 5 play I've ever seen.
And like no media coverage. Nothing.
None.
I had to search it on Twitter myself. I couldn't find it. It wouldn't pop up on my For You page.
Yeah.
I was pissed.
Gainwell didn't get the respect.
No,
this was a weird referee game too, though.
Yes, very weird game. But I'll give you that. I'll give you that about Tomlin and Rodgers here.
You want to talk about guys that teams would take in a heartbeat that don't have good coaches right now? Mike Tomlin's the cream of the crop.
I put my hand up. I'm gonna put my hand up early.
No.
3 weeks ago, I said I wouldn't take Tomlin if he became available.
I mean, they've had I was looking yesterday. I should have wrote it all down through their past seasons of quarterback play. And the last 2 years of Roethlisberger were not good. Since then, it's been awful. Rodgers this is a revelation for this franchise. His league average season, if even that. I mean, I think he's had a lot of stretches that have been bad this year, and they are going to win this division. They're going to win 10 games. Unreal.
8's back.
8's back, and I will say, after watching Baltimore the last few weeks, going to be nice to see Rodgers in that playoff spot instead of the Ravens because the Ravens are just dead. Getting to watch Rodgers, the Steelers in a home game is going to be a better feel for the playoff game than Baltimore at home.
Yeah, I'll take away the statement I made also about not going to watch the Steelers in the postseason. I'll watch them. They were pretty entertaining the last 2 weeks.
So a lot of Steelers apologies.
Yeah.
All right, last game. Let's hit Patriots-Ravens real quick. Sunday Night Football, and then we'll do overreactions, what we got wrong, talk about a little coach stuff. We'll be out of here, though, quick. Drake May surges in the second half, does a great job. Lamar gets hurt in this game. And, I don't know if Lamar wins this game either. He just hasn't looked great, but he looked good to start it. You were high on the Ravens. Tough loss for them. They lose by 4, and defense blows it.
If I was still gambling, I would have had a decent amount of money on the Ravens last night, but I thank God
you
I
felt
wasn't.
that good about them?
Yeah, I really liked them last night. 3.5-point favorites at home. Really liked Baltimore last night, and Lamar obviously goes down. I've got a lot to say, something that you're going to be like jaw-dropping on the floor for Lamar and Drake May in the overreaction, so I'll save that.
Okay.
But just wow with Drake May. Just wow with the way that game went because, we're texting like, oh, this is over. This is done. And the second that they go down the field, New England, you text me back, they're winning this game. And they still needed the ball back and then to tie it. And they got the ball back and took the lead. So they were super impressive last night. Vrabel is a genius. Vrabel's great. And might be one of the better hires we've seen in a very long time. Him and Ben Johnson in the same cycle.
And
incredible.
Probably Cohn, too. I was talking to a Giants fan last night just about how this upcoming coaching cycle is, and it doesn't mean there's not going to be a great coach in it, but very underwhelming. But last year, stepping into this coaching cycle, I think you knew that you were getting an elite group of candidates. I said this about Atlanta last season. I would have just corrected your mistake. Fire the bad coach you have and say, I'm just going to sell out for one of these guys. Even Mike McCarthy. Just sell out for one of these 3 guys, Johnson, McCarthy, or Vrabel. And good for the Patriots and Bears. They're going to win their divisions in the first year.
I think Mike McCarthy in the right situation could be this year's Vrabel. I think Vrabel's a much more impressive guy, impressive coach. But I think McCarthy can have a similar impact to what Vrabel's done in New England with the right team. Is it the Giants? I don't know. Is it the Titans? I don't know. I know Tennessee's got the hots for him. I don't know, but I think that one of these spots could really use a Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, McCarthy has only had, relative success in his career, so I don't know how. A couple things I want to talk about in the comments here, so I'm getting sidetracked, but this was weird. Henry has 128 yards on 16 carries, 2 touchdowns. After the second touchdown, he doesn't touch the ball again. The Patriots could not stop Derrick Henry last night.
No. And
you don't have your starting quarterback in, and then he doesn't get the ball anymore. That's where the Harbaugh-Monken duo has had issues, is especially with Derrick Henry. 2 years ago in the playoffs, in the run game, I think they ran the ball, 7 times against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game? Or was that last year?
They went away from it, yeah.
And last year, 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago, I think. And they just went away from the run completely, and they scored 10 points.
It's been a really weird year for this Ravens team, whether it's been blowing leads or turnovers or injuries. And we saw it all happen in week 1, blowing the massive lead to Buffalo with the turnovers. Henry never fumbles, he fumbles. That's just been the year for Baltimore. And it all came crashing down last night when they turned the ball over once again and blow another lead. It's all been the same crap for this team all year long. And that's the theme of this season. And again, we saw it with the season ending last night.
I want to say one more thing about the Patriots. Stephon Diggs has been unbelievable for New England. And just a perfect signing. It's worked out great. It has not gotten enough talk this season how well Diggs fits in these big games, in the Buffalo game early in the season that they won, in this game, both on the road against Baltimore. He has just shown up and felt like the dominant receiver he was with the Bills. And I don't think the Patriots have had a guy this good at receiver in a really long time. When is the last time the Patriots had a wide receiver that could get open at the frequency that Diggs does. You're probably throwing an Edelman year or two, but Diggs is a true wide receiver one in this offense. And that is the biggest surprise for me with New England this season compared to what I expected from them in the preseason.
Ideally, he's a 2.
Yeah, ideally he's a 2, but they don't need him to be.
Ideally, he's a 2. And they need to go. They may not need to go get somebody with how great Drake May is, but when you're throwing a Kyle Williams and Matt Collins, who have been good, by the way, and Pop Douglas, like, yeah, he's a 2, but in this offense, he's a 1, clearly. And last night, great, but he had that little midseason slump there where it just looked like he had ran out of gas, but he's back now. He's back for the right time of the year.
I think New England with the Kyle Williams pick has an understanding of who Drake May is as a quarterback too. They need a guy like Diggs, a veteran who can get open a lot, and then they need Rashid Shaheed or Kyle Williams, guys like that. Who's going to catch the deep ball? Who's going to go get the deep ball? Because that's all Williams gets.
Yeah,
is a deep ball every 3 weeks,
and
it's a huge play. And that's where May is clearly superior to the rest of the quarterbacks in the league, is with the deep ball. Russell Wilson was like this in Seattle. Like, he wasn't actually a top 3 or 5 intermediate passer, but nobody threw a better deep ball. And May is that guy right now. May is, if he started 30 yards plus, it's on the money.
It was incredible. That was incredible last night. That throw, that was a holy bleep, really loud, out loud.
Dropped it right in. All right, that's it. Sunday Night Football tonight, Niners Colts. You want to give a quick prediction, then we'll hit overreactions?
Monday night.
Why are we giving a prediction on this game?
Yeah, the Niners are going to blow them out.
Niners going to kill them. All right, overreaction time, and then we're going to take the L and take a victory lap on one thing each. Mike, your first overreaction of the Week 16 NFL slate.
I never want to hear anything again about Lamar Jackson being a top 3 quarterback, ever. I don't care. He's as talented as anybody you've ever seen. The guy doesn't play. And even if he's got a little bit of a little boo-boo there, oh, my back. Oh, no. Season on the line. Not playing. In Cincinnati, playoff game. Needs a new contract. I got an ankle. Can't go. Way too many times this guy is not suited up and played for his team with the season on the line. I don't trust him. I don't. At least Burrow, if he's out, it's because he's got something torn. Something is off the bone, and he's not playing. Not with Lamar. He's got a little strain there. He's not going, and I cannot trust somebody like that. I don't want to have any more conversation about him being a top 3 guy, somebody you'd start the franchise with. It is. I'd probably go Burrow ahead of him, too.
Well, but by your logic, you can't even go Burrow.
I know, it's tough. It's tough. But again,
I was just going to ask, who are the guys that you would take over? Mahomes, Allen?
Next on the overreaction.
May. I mean, this is insane.
The
May Patriots glaze this year on this show. It's been shameless.
Next.
All right, I'm going to pull up my overreactions here. Got it on my phone today. Trevor Lawrence. Got to be a top 3 MVP candidate. He's been unreal this season. Last 4 games. I'm going to pull up the stats right now. His last 2 games have actually just been insane, too. 10 touchdowns. I'd say like 800 Trevor Lawrence stats for today's show. But his last 2 games, he's got 10 touchdowns, no turnovers. 4th quarterback to ever do that in consecutive weeks. I think the other 3 are Allen, Mahomes, and Breeze to have 10 touchdowns, no turnovers in consecutive weeks. I just think they finally found it with T-Law. And top 3 MVP guy after yesterday, I think Allen slots out. Stafford 1, May 2, Trevor Lawrence would be my 3. Because since their bye week, since week 13, over 1,000 passing yards, 14 total touchdowns, no turnovers. He's just been unreal.
Yeah, and I've seen this on the odds. He hasn't passed Allen yet, but he's very close to Allen in terms of the odds. And may close the gap on Mr. Matt Stafford this week. So, yeah, it's a nice take. You want him in the top 3. Interesting.
I mean, we went into yesterday saying this is the best defense in the NFL, probably, in Denver. He had 4 touchdowns, 299 yards, 64% completion, gets a win. and now 1 seed's in striking distance for Jacksonville. They have just really figured out how to get him to click and how to get him to stop making that head scratcher throw every game. And it's all Liam Cohn. It's all Liam Cohn, and credit to Trevor Lawrence for buying in. After their bye week, there's a clear difference in the quarterback. So there was obviously a long evaluation there for him to figure things out, and they did a great job. He looks awesome. And that's why, I mean, you got to be in on Jacksonville's chances to go to the Super Bowl. You don't have to pick them, but you got to be in on their chances to really make noise in the AFC playoff.
There we go. It's a big win. Shocked a lot of people.
Big win.
All right. My second overreaction. Kind of a tease from the last one. If I'm starting a franchise right now, I want 3 guys. My top 3 would be Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Drake May. We talked about Drake May throwing the deep ball. We talked about what Drake May has done with this roster this season in his first year. I get that the schedule has been easier than Alabama's schedule for the first 3 weeks of the year when they schedule nobody. I understand that. But holy crap, this guy with the roster he's dealing with the receivers, Will Campbell's been out the last few weeks here. Not the greatest offensive line. It's certainly not the best defense in the league. And they're winning ball games, and they're doing it on Drake May's back. The guy's incredible. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. They're not. I don't even think they go to the AFC Championship game. But this guy is legit, and they're going to win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. May's a stud. He'd be in the mix for me in the top 3. I probably would have the same top 3, but I need one more year for him to like definitely put him 3. You know what I mean? Just need to see it one more time that he's this good. They're going to get a really tough schedule next year. So I got to just get one more look at it. But I don't see how he's going to change, get worse and change my mind that way.
Like this isn't a Daniel situation where Daniel's played his rookie year and the entire year and came in second year and it struggled and was banged up. Like unless May unfortunately gets injured next season, I can't see it being a bad year because I don't think there's anything to figure out. He's just better. Like he's just better.
I just got to say one thing about Daniels, and I'm not even saying you just did this. I think he's quickly become overhated. Very quickly.
I don't think I see, and it's not a hate for me. It's simply just you're not as good. You're not as good as this guy.
I think there's a good chance, 3 or 4 years from now, when he's actually been able to stay healthy a little bit, hopefully, that you're like, okay, he's definitely a top 7 quarterback.
You think?
Because he was great last year, and I still think he was pretty good this season in the games he played. Washington's awful.
Washington is awful.
That's where the biggest, even bigger injury concern for me than injuries comes into play is I don't think Washington can get it right.
Well, I was just about to say that, like, not even just injuries, just overall play and talent around the quarterback. I don't think they're capable of doing a good enough job where Vrabel and the Patriots, every year they're going to put a good enough team around Drake May.
Like Packers fans will hate this, but I think Daniels is on that Jordan Love, like Justin Herbert level still. I think my mind did not change on Daniels since the end of last year, but the argument about who would you rather have, May's better. Let me just say that because that's how this is started. May's better, and he's obviously more durable, so I'd rather have him. But I think Daniels is in that 5 to 10 range of quarterbacks.
That's fine
in the league. But either way, I mean, we got to see it more from Daniels too. I got to see it more from May. I got to see it more from Daniels. I'm going to throw you a quarterback here for my second overreaction. That is elite. Sam Darnold is an elite quarterback. Start putting the respect on his name as the elite top 7 franchise quarterback in the NFL. Last 2 seasons, 14-3 in Minnesota, 12-3 now in Seattle. He's the first quarterback in NFL history to win 12 games in back-to-back seasons with 2 different teams. I get that a lot of great quarterbacks didn't get an opportunity to play for 2 different teams, but nonetheless, unbelievably impressive to go into 2 completely different offenses and 2 completely different environments and go 12 wins or better. Probably going to win this division. Maybe not, though. San Fran's lurking. But Darnold is just one of the unbelievable stories in the NFL the last 2 years. His deep ball is as good as anybody's in the league. We just talked about Drake May, but if you watch Darnold throw the deep ball and you look at the numbers on him, he's as good as anybody. Sam Darnold, great win Thursday night. I think we saw in real time him flipping the switch, flipping the narrative. Now Seattle is trouble in the playoffs because he got that big win under his belt. I think he's unfazed now by these top teams, top defenses, and big environments.
Sammy D, it looked like he was crumbling Thursday night. Looked like he was going to have that game that we all kind of expected in the big spot against a really good team, even at home, and they flipped it around down 30-14. It was incredibly impressive and good on Darnold. Get the win. I was rooting for him that night, and I know you were too. Seahawks, man, that's a tough team. That's a tough team. You don't want to go to Seattle and play a playoff game. You don't want to do that. And right now they control that.
Your next overreaction.
My next overreaction, a little lighter than the other ones. Minnesota is 110% in the market for a quarterback this year, and not just a backup, a starter. They're in the market for a Mac Jones. They're in the market for potential, to draft somebody. This team cannot go on. They can't be serious and go on with JJ as your starting guy. And I don't even think it's unfair, because if you mix in the way he's played, let's also mix in how just injured and banged up he's been. Comes out of the game yesterday with the hand injury. They go to Brosmer. Like, he's not reliable. He's not durable. So I think when we're looking at whether or not Kevin O'Connell can, seriously say, hey, who's going to be my guy next year? I don't know how he goes in confidently saying it's JJ McCarthy, just based on the fact the guy can't stay healthy.
Yeah. And how much do you get on the open market for McCarthy right now on the trade
Nothing.
market?
And I wouldn't trade him. You
would keep him.
I would keep him. But because you can't get anything for him.
Can't get anything for him. Surprising how bad it's gone this year. I mean, that's one of my, I'm not going to do it for today's show. That's one of my big hand up. I was wrong team.
Yeah.
Was Minnesota. I thought this was a 10-win team still. I thought that McCarthy would fill in as a Jimmy Garoppolo type of quarterback and really just manage the game for them. Not even close. The scariest part of this, and I know he had a few big plays against the Giants yesterday, but it was more so with Brosmer. They can't even get Justin Jefferson the ball.
No.
That is a huge issue.
And when does he just say, hey, get me out of here?
That's an interesting one, because if he goes to request a trade, that's my cue to say, I got to get aggressive for a quarterback, because I'm not getting rid of Jefferson.
Right.
But I'll do anything to keep him happy here. And if he's that pissed about this, I got to get a guy in.
And he looks miserable. He looks freaking miserable. You could tell. You could just tell.
What's his stat line this season?
It's not good.
Because I had him in a fantasy league that went to total crap, largely because of JJ McCarthy.
Because you had JJ McCarthy.
So he's still going to probably hit 1,000 yards. He's at 917. But you look at his career, 2021, 108 catches. 22, he had 128 on 184 targets. 2024, he had 1,500 yards on 103 receptions. This year, he's got 72 receptions. He's got 125 targets. That's 20 less or 30 less than last year right now. It's just like, you got to be pissed. And touchdowns, he hasn't even had one.
It's incredible. He doesn't have a touchdown?
No, he does. He's two. Never mind. I'm looking through like the whole game log.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got two touchdowns, and he had one against Dallas, right? No, or maybe not. I don't even know. Can't believe Dallas got 9.
Yeah.
All right, my last overreaction. I'm bringing this one close to home for us. Jets and Giants love the first 2 picks in the NFL draft. Jets are not winning another game. Brady Cook, Aaron Glenn said today he's their starter the rest of the year. Jets not winning another game. That's a full tank if Brady Cook's your starter the rest of the year. Giants, I don't think are winning again either. Dallas is going to play their guys in week 18. They're going to play for one last win. So I think they get that win. I think Vegas beats them in Vegas on Sunday too. And for the Jets to jump from pick 4 to pick 2, Vegas would have to win 1. And I think they're going to win 2. I think they're going to beat the Giants and the Chiefs, both of them in Las Vegas the last 2 weeks. Chiefs are checked out. And Cleveland's got to win 1. They play at home Pittsburgh this week. Is that not a massive trap?
Anything can happen in that game.
After all the good vibes about the Steelers this week, is that not the biggest trap of the year?
The Steelers lose that football game. They lose that football game.
And then they play Cincinnati in week 18. I don't think they'd win that game. It's on the road, but you never know.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland's going to take one of those too.
Yep.
So the Jets and Giants might be picking 1 and 2 in the NFL draft.
Oh my God, I love Cleveland with the spread this week. It's 4.5. Oh my God, I love it. Merry Christmas. Let's go.
Yeah, unreal trap game next week.
And the Giants take Mendoza. Awesome.
Giants take Mendy. They trade Dart to the Jets for a 4th round pick. I don't even want him after the last few weeks. Keep him. Sorry, Dart.
You want him.
Brady Cook's here.
You want him.
All right, take your victory lap.
Why don't you go first while I try and get rid of the static?
I'll go first. I kind of already did it with Darnold, but I'm taking my Seahawks victory lap. I had them when I did the power rankings every week as a top 5 team in week 3 when they were 2-1. I got ripped for it by a lot of the people that'll watch and listen to this show. And they're the 1 seed in the NFC right now. The reasoning I always had was they upgraded at quarterback. Fine. Gino, we know he stunk. I didn't think Darnold was going to even be this good. But defensively, what Mike McDonald has brought in there and what he's done, it's the toughest, most physical defense in the league to go up against. Maybe Houston's better, but Seattle, roster-wise, was completely underrated coming into the season. This is a winning front office. It's a winning organization and a team that's most of the time really good. The defense is great. Darnold is really good. The weapons are terrific. And adding Shaheed was a great deadline move. So I'm going to take my victory lap on the Seattle Seahawks as one of the top 5 teams in the league. And obviously they are. There's no debating it now as of the top seed in the NFC going into the last 2 weeks of the season. I'll take my L at the same time here. Texans are my biggest L of the season. To win 6 games before the year started. Picked them to win 5 games, bragged about it for the first 4 or 5 weeks after they started 0-3. Did not think that offensive line and running game could sustain another season, and they absolutely have, and they have a chance to get into the playoffs as a top 6 seed in the AFC, and then a chance to move on past that. And I absolutely love watching the Texans. So that's my L of the season right now for my week 16 hand up, taking the L moment. Houston Texans are great, and we've known that for a few weeks, but I was really out on them to start the season.
Yeah, I don't even think I'm connected to a mic right now because nothing.
No, you're not. It's all right, though.
Nothing is working whatsoever, so I'm going to try and get this here. But you took my L. You took my L there.
Okay.
That was good. I have 2 L's, so I was gonna use that one as an L. So I will go with my victory lap. I will say my victory lap is the Lions will miss the playoffs after that week 1 game against the Packers. I was completely out on what this team was going to be able to do without Ben Johnson. Thought they would take a step back with Dan Campbell. And offensively, we talked about it before, like they've been good. It's been the running game, and they haven't been that efficient on 4th down. And that's been a huge, huge issue for this Lions team. And it does not look like they're going to make the playoffs. I still think Green Bay gets in over them, but it's going to be close. I think Detroit misses the playoffs. Take my victory lap there. Just not a good season whatsoever for them. Very disappointing, and they have a lot to figure out this offseason.
Yeah.
Hand up. The Steelers will go over 500. I basically say this every year. Under 500, excuse me. I basically say this every year. The Steelers will go under 500. This is the year Tomlin fails. And, of course, they go on a little winning streak here at the end. The Ravens just completely bottom out. And now we have another situation where this team will be back in the postseason. So I will put my hand up. I was wrong on the Steelers. I was wrong on Mike Tomlin. I was wrong on 8. Bad mistake by me. Never doubt 8.
We're the most righteous men in podcasting because we're taking the L here at the end of the show every week. That's going to be a wrap, though, on this week's Week 16 NFL recap. Enjoy Philip Rivers on Monday Night Football. Hopefully, it's the last time we ever see that. I can't believe that's a thing again in 2025. But Uncle Phil on Monday Night Football. I'm pumped to watch it, but it might be going off at halftime, depending on how this one goes. So thanks for watching. You can always check out the Instagram and YouTube, and enjoy your Christmas, everyone who celebrates, and the rest of the holiday season, and have a safe finish to the new year. We'll be back next Sunday, though, 7:30 for the Sunday recap. And hopefully we get a baseball signing in the next 2 weeks to talk about, because we have not. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in Week 17.